June 1985, wife and mother Carole Packman mysteriously disappeared and has never been seen since. Her husband, Russell, is now serving a life sentence for her murder, yet no body has ever been found.
A man was found guilty today of murdering his wife, who's not been seen, alive or dead, for 11 years.
It's extremely gratifying that justice has been done and that a man who thought that he got away with a major crime is now going to prison.
Throughout the case, he pleaded his innocence and refused to talk. Their only child, Sam, was just 16 when her mother vanished.
I'm really angry that you can't just say, OK then, this is what happened.
For over 30 years, their daughter has been searching for answers. But she is now more desperate than ever, and she's turned to me for help. I'm Mark Williams-Thomas. Throughout my career, I've exposed major stories such as the crimes of Jimmy Savile, which shook the British establishment to its core. But in all my years as an investigator, I've never had a case like this. As I look into this complex true story, I find twists at every turn. Murder, sex, fraud, and even a body missing at sea.
How long has the person been in the water? We're not sure.
So many unanswered questions. Nothing is as it seems. After 30 years, I need to find out what really did happen to Carole Packman.
I wouldn't say that I had a bad childhood. I would say that I had quite a good childhood. Living in Bournemouth, nice home, just the three of us. My mother was a quiet, introvert, polite, determined lady. Was always immaculately turned out. She always had this amazing way of being able to do her hair. She was stunning. She was absolutely stunning, really, really beautiful. I would always describe my mother as a proper lady, but yeah. Father, extrovert, gregarious, full of self-importance, arrogant, to the point of rudeness, most probably. He was rather like my friend. We used to play a huge amount ice skating, cycling, swimming. Very, very strict. Despite the discipline, I absolutely idolised him. I was definitely a daddy's girl.
But one summer's day in 1985, Sam's world changed forever.
I remember going back home with my father. There's a note with my mother's wedding ring on there. It says that I've had enough and I'm leaving and I'm not coming back. That's it. That's all it says.
Carole Packman was never seen by family or friends again. But what is the truth about her disappearance? During my time in the police as a detective, I investigated murders, assaults, child abuse. And since my exposure of Jimmy Savile, it has caused people to contact me. And that is exactly what Sam did. Totally out of the blue, she asked me for my help. This case is fascinating. It's so complex. A woman goes missing, completely vanishes, and to date, her body's never been found. Her husband is in jail for her murder. Even though this case is 30 years on, I'm still convinced there's an awful lot more to find out. And I have no doubt there are people out there who hold vital clues. They hold the missing pieces to the puzzle. So Sam, why did you contact me?
I contacted you, Mark, because my mother has been missing for 30 years now. I've got a lot of questions that remain unanswered. My father is serving life for her murder. And I need to know where my mother is. I need to know what exactly happened, if I can. What happened to my mother in June 1985? My father won't talk to me, he won't engage with me, he's never answered any letters. I don't repetitively harass him, but when I've tried to contact him in the past, I've
You just won't answer anything?
Nothing, no answer at all. I'm stuck. I'm literally stuck. Listen, Mark, people have said to me, okay, forget it, just leave it. It's 30 years now. And you just think to yourself, if it was your mother, would you leave it? I think to myself, this is my best last shot, and I know that there's no promises. I know there's no guarantees. But if I don't do this, and if at the end of this, Mark, if it's kind of like, okay then, Sam, this is where we are. That's what I've got to accept.
Her mum vanishes, and to date, her body has never been found. And I can't imagine living with that. It's a daily nightmare, and that's why she gets upset. But she's a driven individual, and she's passionate about trying to get some answers, both for herself and her family. This case is one of the few in British legal history where someone has been convicted of murder without police ever finding a body. Whatever happened to Carole Packman, I'm starting my investigation with an open mind. I have Sam's account, but I need to unravel this case and try to uncover any evidence that might have been missed first time round. Russell Causley was jailed without ever admitting his guilt and remained behind bars. Paul Donnell is the former detective who first arrested Russell Causley for murder. In terms of criminal investigations, how difficult is this amongst all the other ones you've done?
Very, very difficult, because what we first started to do was prove that A, was she dead or was she alive?
No body ever been recovered?
Nobody, yeah. One of the key elements normally is the forensics. So we never had any of that. And we had a start point and we were working backwards rather than going forwards. And that's what made it difficult for us.
And of course, the reality could well have been that Carol was just alive and then decided to move on.
Absolutely, and that was the way we looked at it to start with.
I always like to try and build up a picture of the main individuals.
Yes.
And obviously Carol is one of them.
Yeah.
But early indications are finding it quite difficult to find people who can tell me about her. How did you get on?
We had the same problem, because at the time the investigation was started, sometime after she'd disappeared, we had the problem with the age of witnesses. Some of them had passed away, others had moved to other parts of the country, and the problem being was that Russell controlled her totally. So if she got friendly with somebody, he'd nip that in the bud. He didn't want that.
Russell Causley never cooperated with the police at the time of the original investigation. But I want to know if Paul thinks he will engage with me. Given his arrogance, he didn't tell you anything through the whole of your investigation. It's probably going to be pretty pointless.
I would think so, but you've got to try. You know, you don't know, do you? The guy that I spoke to was a younger man then. He still had that deep-seated arrogance about him. You know, he's an old man now. It's 20 years down the road. Is he going to do it for anybody? If he did, the only person he would do it for, hopefully, would be his daughter.
How do I get into his head?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't really know what makes him tick. I don't know if he cares anymore, because he has absolutely no time for me at all. We don't see things obviously the same, unfortunately. I have a lot of anger towards him. I don't know how you get into a man like that. I really don't know.
Russell Causley is in jail, serving a life sentence for the murder of his wife Carol in 1985. He was convicted without ever admitting his guilt. And Carol's body has never been found. Russell won't talk to his daughter Sam, so she has asked me and my investigation team to help. I've written a letter to Russell. I'm just appealing to him, basically saying, listen, it's a long time ago, just tell me what happened. And I just hope he'll respond.
So this is going to come out of the blue for him?
Yeah, we'll do, yeah. So let's have a quick chat with regards to where we are and what we need to focus on. What can we piece together in terms of what Carol did in the days before?
Brian and Shirley Tizard, they were living next door at the same time.
On June the 14th, she saw a solicitor called Anthony John. He was one of, if not the last person to see her alive, as far as we're aware.
I want to establish what was the cause for the disappearance of Carol. Carol reached a critical point which something caused a flash in the family, and I think 1985, June 1985, will tell us why. 15 months before Carol disappeared, the family had moved to Bournemouth on the south coast. This seaside town appears to be the epitome of middle-class respectability, with smart suburban homes and beautiful beaches. But I've discovered that the setup between Carol and Russell was far from conventional. Neighbours Brian and Shirley Tizard remember the family well. Tell me a little bit about them. What were they like as a family? Did they go out together? Did they keep themselves?
Sam was often left on her own in the house with the dog.
OK.
And she had the odd...
Whilst they were away, like abroad?
Whilst they were away working. She would go to school and they would go away to work.
Gosh, that's quite a thing for a 12, 13-year-old.
Well, we used to worry about that part of it.
So whilst Carol, Russell and Sam are living there, did you get a sense that this was a happy, peaceful family, or did you get a sense there was issues there?
I remember Sam came one day and said, "Oh, Mummy's in the spare bedroom." And she said, "Daddy's got a girlfriend and she's sleeping with Daddy." And off she ran again. We took that with a pinch of salt, really. We thought that really can't be right.
Right.
But it obviously was.
Russell had begun an affair with an employee in his new insurance business, Patricia Causley, who at 26 was considerably younger than Russell. She had moved in with the couple, having sold her own flat and given them the proceeds. According to Patricia, Russell and Carol's marriage was already breaking up. She felt the arrangement was right for them.
The first time I was aware of Patricia was in the summer of 1983. And not long after that, Patricia moved into the family home along with my mother and myself, and obviously my father. Didn't quite realise at that time myself.
Hi, Carol. How are you?
I know that my mother knew that something was going on. She wouldn't have had any choice because we actually had Patricia completely now overtaking. She had a different relationship with my father. She could confront him a little bit. My parents initially were still sleeping in the master bedroom. Patricia was initially sleeping in bedroom 2. It didn't take too long before my father moved out of the master bedroom into bedroom 2. And Patricia came into the second single bed that I had in my room. But Patricia used to then get up out of bed, and she used to then go across the hallway to be with my father. You know, my father used to ask me to act as lookout.
Sam, a little secret, yes?
I didn't really realise the consequences of what I was doing.
If I'm to understand what was going on in the family home around this time, I need to find people who knew Russell, Carol, and Patricia.
Hello, Anthony John, it's Mark Williams Thomas. What it is I'm re-investigating the case
of Carole Packman.
Of course, because they never found her body. Closure is impossible without that.
Absolutely.
Where I became involved was mainly, I think, from the police's point of view, being able to capture a moment in time when she was alive.
Absolutely.
Solicitor Anthony John was one of Russell's new clients in his insurance business. He first met Carol at a dinner party at her house with his wife, Linda.
That was a dinner party at which there were a number of people present that my wife and I didn't know.
Good to see you.
The invitation to dinner was the first time that we would have met as couples and got to know each other a little better. And as the meal moved on, there was a certain amount of ladies sitting in people's laps. Which was making Linda and I very uncomfortable. There was a late arrival of a lady that I now believe to be Patricia Causley. When the whole dynamic in the room very quickly changed. At one point, Carol was sitting on Russell's lap, but then Patricia moved into her place, and there was a very sudden change in the atmosphere. There was something going on with Patricia Causley. I have to say that I wondered if this might be a bunch of people who were engaging in wife swapping, for instance. And at that stage, I wouldn't have said Carol was an unwilling party either. But things can go too far, can't they?
To outsiders, it may have seemed that Carol was complicit in this new family setup. But I think there is another reason why Carol endured Russell's affair.
He used to kick her. He used to quite like using his feet, actually. But also at the same time, bruises in places that couldn't actually be seen by other people. My mum, she was being broken, definitely broken.
Patricia wasn't Russell's first affair. Years earlier, Sam spotted her father with another woman. But she kept her silence. Just 6 months before Carol disappeared, one evening Sam revealed this to her mother. Russell flew into a rage.
My father pulled up, got out of the car, came into the house. Came into my room. He took me out of bed and he put me over his knees on the side of my bed. I had 2 beds, twin beds in my room. And he had these leather slippers, but soft leather top, but really, really solid leather heel. He started to count to around about sort of 8 or 9. And I fell off. And he picked me up. He picked me up with his nails behind my ear and the back of my knee. And he picked me up and he put me back onto his knee again. And he said, right, we'll start again. When he finished, he threw me across the room against the wardrobes. And then I was then sent to the study to sleep on the floor for the night. I was woken in the morning. I was in agony. My father was in bed. Patricia was having a shower. And my mother was there. She was doing breakfast. And she said to me, "There's tea in the pot if you want one." I just thought, oh, I'm staying here. I just grabbed my coat and I ran. I ran all the way to Bournemouth. And I went to a children's home then for a while. And I made a statement against my father to say that this is what he'd done to me. And my father made contact with me. They allowed him to speak to me on the phone, even though that I'd been made a ward of court.
Please, Sarah, you'll get that into a lot of trouble.
And I sat in the office at the children's home. And he was pleading with me to stop.
Not to make an allegation?
And, I changed my statement.
Do you hate him?
Oh, Mark, what a question. I don't think hate is the correct word. I'm so sorry. Hate. I can't answer this. I'm really sorry. You've just completely thrown me there. I'm really angry. I'm really upset. I think that I struggle. That he just can't be a man. He can't just say, okay, then this is what happened. That control, even emotionally, you could say is still there.
Sam, obviously she's absolutely vital because she sets the scene in terms of her own life. You know, Russell was a control freak, he was a narcissist, he was a guy who actually, in a way, probably totally dominated women, and I think that makes a very dangerous combination. After Carol's disappearance, Sam's life spiraled out of control. She went off the rails and ended up serving time in prison for drug and fraud offences. But she managed to get her life back on track and went on to marry and have a son, Neil.
So, Neil, the purpose really of coming for a drink with you is I just want to get a sense of the impact all of this is having on you and your mum.
This whole thing took its toll on my parents, you know, in their relationship, you know, really it's a breaking point, you know, it's strained.
And did you know that was going on? Right. What do you think your mum wants? What ultimately does she want?
At the end of the day, to be able to know the story, what actually happened. We know what the catalyst was. We know that, you know, when the dynamics of that household changed. Yeah. But we don't know the rest of the story.
Yeah. And no matter what that is, you want to know.
Yeah.
Mum wants to know.
It's that sense of closure.
Do you think there's a lot more to be found out? Obviously, this is early days of the investigation, but do you think as I start to unpick it, there may be people out there who've got things to say they haven't said previously?
Definitely.
In the spring of that year, Sam returned to the family home after having been looked after by Children's Services for a short period of time. Russell was still living there with his wife, Carol, and his lover, Patricia, was well and truly settled in.
Did you see her as a stepmom?
I would say no. I would say more that she was kind of like that she was my friend. Somebody that you could talk to. I think that, unfortunately then, my loyalty anyway, it seemed more attractive with my father and Patricia.
And tell me about how Mum was behaving.
She was now losing her temper. Yes, I'd seen temper before with my mother, but never quite like this.
I'm not going anyway, and you're...
Fights, ripping of T-shirts.
Use your brain!
Having to be separated. It was just awful, Mark. Something had to give. It just wasn't a very good atmosphere in there.
So Sam, Russell and Patricia were all forming a close-knit unit, and it was alienating Carol. Key to discovering what happened to Carol is establishing what her movements were in the days and hours before she was last seen.
Well, Carol came to see you, didn't she?
Yes. She started telling me that it was dreadful up there, you know, to live. And that Trish was in the way. And she was thinking of leaving. She was worried about the house. Could Russell take the house for himself? And my reply was she should go and see a solicitor. I pointed out that she had Sam, and at that time, I understand Sam was getting on with Tricia better than she was her mother. And she went. And I didn't see her again.
She was a very competent lady, and had she put her mind to it, she probably could have disappeared.
And Shirley, you know, you were one of the last people to see Carol alive.
I suppose sometimes I have a doubt, or I have had a doubt. Is Carol still alive?
Are you convinced that she's dead?
Do you want me to be honest?
Absolutely.
I still have a question mark in my mind. Did she get away?
I'm investigating the mysterious disappearance of Carole Packman in 1985. I hope that by retracing her final movements, I can uncover clues to what happened. The day before she disappeared, she visited solicitor Anthony John, the same man who had been a dinner party guest months earlier. So, Anthony, you saw Carol on the 14th of June, 1985. Tell me about that.
She came to see me at my office, she said, to talk about her matrimonial affairs. and that the relationship between her and Russell was not good, and she was seeking to divorce him.
Just give me a sense of how she was. How was she feeling?
She seemed quite calm. I can remember the meeting quite clearly, quite determined in the path she wanted to take. She felt that she didn't love Russell any longer, and she was quite clear that she wanted a divorce and she wanted to move on with her life.
Was this something mind made up, discussed, or was it still
I very much got the impression that she hadn't discussed it with Russell. She'd made her mind up and wanted to take the appropriate steps to end their marriage.
I have to find out what happened after that visit to the solicitor. Did Carol return home? Did she talk to Russell about a divorce? What is Sam's version of the events of that day?
I remember being in London. I was supposed to be going there to do some sightseeing and to have lunch with Patricia. I remember Patricia coming to a window of the car, but I don't remember lunch. I don't remember doing anything in London. I remember going back home with my father. There's a note with my mother's wedding ring on there. It says that I've had enough and I'm leaving and I'm not coming back. That's it. That's all it says.
Sam.
My father follows me upstairs. I walk into the master bedroom. The first thing that I see is a cocktail dress of my mother's, bright red. All of the wardrobe doors are all wide open. My father stood at the doorway. She'll be back. It's just attention seeking, that's it. And that is the first that I knew that my mother had walked out.
What did you think?
It was a relief, Mark. It relieved some serious pressure.
Do you have any suspicions at this stage that there is anything wrong, or has your mum just simply walked out?
I literally had thought we had been so horrible, and she had that she literally had walked out. I had no other reason to believe anything else bar my mother was a missing person.
How did that feel?
Shall I be perfectly honest with you? I didn't care. I really didn't care.
So at that stage, Sam wasn't looking for her mum. What did Russell say to others about her disappearance? I've managed to track down phone numbers for friends and colleagues who knew Russell and Carol back in 1985.
So, Mr. Driscoll, thank you for talking to me. So, my name's Mark Williams-Thomas, and what I'd like to ask you is what knowledge you had in regards to why was Patricia suddenly on the scene and Carol no longer on the scene?
Just a normal thing of an older man wanting a younger model, shall we say.
So he never explained to you and said she's run away, she's gone here or whatever, anything like that?
He did subsequently. He turned around and said, I think she ran off with some German in a Porsche or something.
Tony, quick question to you. When you spoke to Russell, or Russell spoke to you and said where Carol was, what did he tell you?
Well, I asked him where she was. He said that she was working in Italy.
Hello, Lee. When you were spoken to by Russell in terms of where he said Carol had gone, where did he tell you?
He told us that she'd gone off with a chap. Didn't specifically say where. He said he'd gone off with a chap in a red Porsche.
Yeah, me and Carol have separated and she's gone to live abroad. Carol's gone to live in Germany with a job shopper in the airline industry. Carol? She's in France.
So Russell's stories didn't seem to add up, and there was no one to contradict his version of events. Did her family ask questions? The more I've investigated this case, the more it's clear that during her marriage to Russell, Carol had also become isolated from her family. Carol's parents are now dead, but Bournemouth journalist Joanna Codd covered the case from the beginning, and she interviewed Carol's mother, Mary Thornton, before she passed away.
I know that he met Carol in the Reading area, and he actually lodged with her parents for a while. When I went to speak to Carol's mother, she said he tried to take over the house.
Was this chap I met today?
He caused rows between all the family.
He makes an absolute fortune.
Mrs. Thornton found out that Russell had been in prison for GBH. Of course, by then, Carol was, as she said, head over heels in love. He caused so much trouble that Mrs. Thornton and her husband decided he had to be got out of the house.
What's wrong with all of your family?
Obviously, Russell was quite annoyed about this.
I can't fucking stay here!
And he cut off contact between Carol and her parents. So when Carol became pregnant, they never knew.
So Carol was cut off from friends and family. Is it really possible she could have left to escape a troubled relationship and never told anyone? In June 1985, Carole Packman went missing and has never been seen since. The one person who is essential to helping me unravel this mystery is her husband, Russell. I've been trying to get hold of the police audio tapes of the original missing person investigation.
It's a very delicate step to get the police to start to engage with me and to share the information that they've got.
The tapes are of an interview with Russell in 1994 when he met with police to discuss his missing wife. These recordings have never been heard in public before.
One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Not really when my wife walked out of the house, came out of the house, she left a ring, the wedding ring, she left a shorthand. The only one I can say now that I reported her missing. Without her, the best thing I've ever had. We did not have enough money to talk without stepping on it.
Hearing Russell's voice has given me a glimpse into the man I've heard so much about. But now I can go one stage further. Since Sam's father was convicted of murder, she has spent her life pleading with him to tell her what happened. He's always refused to communicate with her. A week after writing to Russell in prison, he's written back to me.
I've written to Russell, and actually I asked him a number of specific questions.
Okay.
He received that letter, and he's responded.
Directly to you?
Yeah.
Has he?
And I want to show you that letter.
Dear Mr. Williams Thomas, I've just moments ago received your letter, which was delivered by special delivery. I'm not at all sure what to write, or just how to respond to this out-of-the-blue warning of a further humiliation. I do not have a solicitor at this time, but you may be able to facilitate that much quicker. If you can get someone local to come in and talk to me, I may well be willing to engage with you. I will leave that with you. Yours sincerely, Russell Causley.
So I've written back to him.
Okay.
In the period of time that he
wrote that, and you can see the last paragraph, he talks about solicitor.
Yeah.
A solicitor contacted me.
Oh, really?
And it was actually a solicitor I know. He wrote back to him the following day and said, I know Mark, and you know, he's very trusted, he's a very trusted journalist, and that he'll be very straight with you in terms of what he says, and I see no reason why you can't engage with him, and that's up to you.
I'm really pleased, Mark, that he is communicating with you, and I just need him just to tell the truth.
This letter is a great start. Russell was silent for decades. He may not have engaged with Sam, but he's now engaging with me. What will he reveal that he's never told anyone else? What I do know so far is that less than 2 months after Carol's disappearance, Russell and his daughter Sam reported her missing. Peter Walker, at the time an inspector with Dorset Police, later met with him.
He turned up at the police station whilst I was on duty, and we talked through the circumstances, the fact that his marriage had broken down to Carol.
How can I help you?
Good afternoon. I'd like to report a missing person, please.
There was no suggestion that anything untoward had happened to Carol at that stage.
Peter, what inquiries did you make to try and locate Carol Pacman?
Press releasing, hospitals, and nationally on the police national computer.
And do you know what happened after that?
I was told that Carol Pacman had come into the police station and that she had said she was safe and well, and that was it. And the inspector who dealt with that was Colin Vincent, who unfortunately is now dead. As I subsequently discovered, after 5 years, all the papers are destroyed.
Right, and that caused the investigation, in terms of the missing persons investigation, to be closed.
Absolutely.
So that person that went into the police station claiming to be Carol could well have been Carol.
Yes.
So in 1985, all it took for the case to be closed was for one person to walk into a police station to say she was Carol. No checks made and no questions asked. But was that woman Carol Packman? What makes it even stranger is I've established that the woman who spoke with the police took a child of a similar age to Sam with her. So, was it Sam? Sam, I've just spoken to Peter Walker. He was the inspector that worked at Bournemouth Police Station. And what he's told me is he is aware that a woman walked into the police station claiming to be your mother, Carol.
Yeah.
And I also know that when that person went into the police station, there was a child with them. Was that child you? Did you walk into a police station with your mother and your mother say she was fine?
Absolutely not. I never ever saw my mother again after the time that she disappeared from Westbourne. So no, I have never been into a police station with my mother. No, that was not me.
Okay, all right. So whoever walked into that police station claiming to be your mother, Carol, you were not with them?
No, absolutely not.
But if it wasn't Sam that day in the police station, then who was it? And was the woman Carol? What makes it even more bizarre is in the police files I found reports a year after her disappearance of someone alive and working in the aerospace industry in Canada, calling herself Carole Packman. I need to go to Canada to search for the truth. As the investigation continues, we follow up on the alleged sightings of Carol across the globe.
He said, I think she's out working in Germany or Italy, somewhere like that.
There's a body missing at sea.
How long has the person been in the water?
Russell continues to communicate.
This goes to the heart of Russell.
We start to build up brand new evidence.
And you'd stand up in a court of law and say that.
Oh, yes.
As I try to find out what really happened to Carole Packman.
This is what we were looking for 20 years ago.